Hello, everybody. Welcome to another live edition of the Market Down Podcast. My name is Nick Cummings, joined this week by Chad Big Bad Johnson and Danny Hernandez, recapping the go home show of Dynamite before Double or Nothing on Sunday. Let's start down with the main event, which was Samoa Joe versus Kyle O'Reilly in an Owen Hart Foundation tournament semifinal. The winner would go on to face Adam Cole. This match was cool. It was really good. Joe came in with the arm injury after he got attacked last week by Jay Lethal in the left pipe. So Kyle ended up working that over quite a bit throughout the match. Actually ended up countering a muscle buster with it. But the match ended with Joe reversing a pinfall into a sleeper hold, putting Kyle to sleep and picking up the victory, moving on to face Adam Cole, who then emerged from the tunnel and stared down Joe as they went off air. So, good match to close the show, I think. Chad, I'll start with you. What do you think of the match, and what do you think about the Owen Hart finals, Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe?
That's the that right there is the kicker. The match was fine. I love the match. I'm a little sour on the victor, but I almost feel bad for being sour because I guess Samoa Joe does deserve this. But I just really, really wanted Kyle O'Reilly to win. So fuck it. I'm gonna throw a tantrum. I wanted who I wanted to win, and he didn't win. So now I'm pissed. There we go. Fuck. And everybody knows that Adam Cole is gonna win and he doesn't need it. But other than that, the match was great. Can't complain on the match at all.
Yeah, I think we had that whole argument last week about whether or not Cole should have been in the tournament in the first place, and I don't have the energy to rehash all of that again. But I think Joe winning does make some semblance of sense here because I think it's too early to do the Cole versus O'Reilly thing in AEW.
That's what I was thinking as well. I was like, they're not going to do that yet. They're going to hold off for a bit. So I get it. I just, I want what I want.
Fair enough. Danny, what do you think about the match, and what do you think about the upcoming finals for the Owen?
I second pretty much everything that Chad said. I don't care too much about the upcoming match. I'm not gonna lie, which sounds terrible to say because it's Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe, and
for the first time ever, I believe.
On paper, I should be super excited about that. But O'Reilly should have won. He is the best. He was the best person left remaining in this tournament. But the match was good. The match was fun. O'Reilly worked Joe over well. I'm going to throw a random complaint out there. I could save it for the other tournament match, but I might as well say it now. I hated the billing of a double main event. That was the most WWE shit AEW has done to this point. Like, oh, we have a double main event tonight. We have two main events. Like,
I must concur.
It wasn't two main events. You can just tell by the time the two matches were given, it was not a double main event. Get out of here with that shit. But this match was good, fun. But yeah, it doesn't have me too excited for the pay-per-view. I somewhat agree with this guy, Eric Grisanti, in our chat, who's saying this is the least excited he's been for AEW pay-per-view. I mean, in terms of this match wasn't the best. Like, not that this match can't main event, but it shouldn't main event the go-home show because there was no real, like, ooh, I'm excited for the pay-per-view now. And part of that is on me and Chad, I guess, for, not being into Joe and Cole as a final. But, I would have had some, maybe the cage match main event. I don't know.
I thought that was going to main event. Yeah.
Yeah. Just to make it feel like, oh my God, the pay-per-view is this Sunday.
Right.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree. I thought this probably could have opened. I honestly would flip the steel cage match, which we'll talk about in a second, and the main event here. I think the cage match should have went on last. I think the crowd would have been the most hyped for that. And I think this would have been a good way to open the show, set up the finals. You can talk about the finals throughout the show then. And and it would, still bring a good energy to the crowd because, this match ended up being really good. So I don't know. That's the way I would have done it. But hey, look, I'm excited for Culver's show. I think it's going to be really cool. I am shocked they never ran into each other at NXT or Ring of Honor, I guess, for that matter. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the whole pay-per-view, which, we'll talk about, I guess, a bit throughout this show. And then obviously we'll have a prediction show coming out before Sunday. But no, I'm good with this final. Like, again, I didn't love the idea of Cole being in the tournament in the first place, but if he's going to be there, Cole versus Joe is a good way to end it, I think. So there you go.
Right, I mean, it's going to be a good match regardless. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. I don't think anybody's disputing that at all. No, right. No pun intended. But well, of course, now I try to go to the top of the card here, and my thing gets screwed up. There we go. Okay, so the beginning of the show was the aforementioned cage match. Wardlow versus Shawn Spears. MJF was the special guest referee in his freaking, what was that? Like, I don't even know what that pattern's called, but he had the patterns ref shirt, which was pretty cool. Obviously, MJF was just a dick the entire time. It was more or less a handicap match. MJF refused to take the cuffs off of Wardlow, and him and Spears kicked the shit out of him for a bit. Eventually, Wardlow just broke them off, which is really cool. Excuse me. MJF eventually kicked Wardlow in the dick, and he got with a C4, which Wardlow kicked out of, even though there was a quick count. Spears went outside to get a chair. He comes back in. Wardlow ducks a chair shot, and MJF just takes the chair straight to the dome. He's unconscious for like 5 minutes. Eventually, Wardlow does the really good appears out of nowhere gif. Nice camera work out of AEW to get that gif for us. So he comes in, hits the Powerbomb Symphony. Eventually, we get Remsburg coming out to call the rest of the match. He hits the final. Wardlow does the final Powerbomb on the chair. 1, 2, 3. Then he beats the shit out of a bunch of security guards. And, James isn't here to rant about 10. Does anybody want to take that really quick?
That's how you do it, 10.
It wasn't Wardlow's best beatdown, but it's still better than anything 10 could even dream of doing.
Absolutely.
Well, it was pretty funny. They were all getting funneled in at him because they all had to go through the cage door one at a time.
You know what? To that point, that was the most logical the goons run at the hero one at a time setup there's ever been, because they really only could get in one at a time. So, that's a nice touch.
One of the security guards ended up getting thrown into the cage and fell between the apron and the cage, which looked nasty as all hell. And in the chaos, MJF escapes to the top of the ramp, and Wardlow climbs to the top of the cage to showboat. So now we have MJF versus Wardlow at Double or Nothing officially. We all knew it was going to happen, but we finally got there, Danny. And this feud and this angle and everything, it's gone on for a little while now, but I think we're finally where it needs to be, the proper level of hype to going into this pay-per-view. And I think this match was just a cherry on top. This was really good. Like I said, I think it should have closed the show. So what do you think?
I agree. I think it should have closed the show, but I think if it was closing the show, you got to tweak it a little bit. But this was fun. It made Wardlow look great. The breaking out of the handcuff spot was perfect. It was very overdue. I didn't know if they were going to do a hero save for the pay-per-view, but here was a good spot as any. This was the most go home of all the go home matches and angles on the show. So it was good stuff. There's like minor things, like why wasn't the cage door like locked? Why was Spears just able to walk out and get it? I understand. I'm glad they don't do the escape the cage rules.
So do I.
The whole point is you're locked in the cage, right? You shouldn't be able to just easily go out and access a weapon or whatever, But
I wonder if that's because MJF was the ref and he just didn't do it.
Sure.
I feel like that usually ends up being the ref's job, and he just wasn't going to give a shit. So
yeah, I can accept that.
That works.
And the only other thing I would have tweaked is I would have had Wardlow just use MJF's unconscious body and like make his hands count the 3 instead of having another ref come down, because I this brings up a lot of like logic holes that are just like you accept in wrestling because it's like you don't want to think about this kind of shit. But it's like, so why was the regular AEW ref allowed to come in and officiate when it seems like MJF has complete control over war? Like, why does Tony allow this to happen on his show? I understand MJF's in charge of Wardlow, but Tony could just be like, yeah, I don't want this on my show, you know? Like, but anyway, like other than that, it was good go home angle. It built Wardlow's over as fuck, so this is working.
Yeah. It has to be like MJF has it in his contract somewhere. Like, it has to be that. That, or I think I've said this before, like, Tony just desperately wants Wardlow on his show, so he allows this nonsense to have him on the show. So, you know, at least in kayfabe. So, I don't know. But, Chad, are you with us here? Do you think it should have closed?
For the first time in probably Market Down history, we all agree on one thing. I definitely agree that this should have been the finale here. Also, shout out to you, Rev, for knowing all of the fucking personnel's name and shit. Kudos, that was good. I
don't know all of them. I know Remsburg. I know Aubrey. I know a couple more, but I don't know all the refs.
I wouldn't be surprised if you knew like the security guards' names. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Great match. I think me and Cat Riddle were the only guys not really stoked for this feud, and it's okay now. I'm kind of into it. I'm having fun. It's where it needs to be. It's not so much on the back burner. It's getting enough play where I'm like, okay, I'm cool with this. And yeah, I agree. The match should have been the finale. I liked it.
Yeah. For, you know, a bunch of people who were complaining at the beginning of this feud that like this is taking too long and like we weren't really loving what was going on, I think it's come a long way since then.
Agreed.
So I'm glad it got to this point because I really wanted this to work, you know, not just for MJF, because MJF is already good, but he's a made man. But I wanted Wardlow to get over. I really like him. So
I'm glad I listened to you and worked on my patience with this feud. It paid off.
Yeah. I think that's what we always say, like, or at least for me, I'm willing to give AEW the benefit of the doubt because they do pay things off.
Right.
You know, so like I said, your patience is usually rewarded with this company, and I think it was here as well. So moving along here, we had a quick Jericho Appreciation Society backstage segment where Jericho just threw a fireball in a random dude's face because he's a fucking wizard, Harry. So I don't know, man. Hopefully he gets fined for that in kayfabe. And then next we had CM Punk and Adam Page in the standoff, face-off, whatever you want to call it, with Shivani in the ring doing the interviews. This was really fucking good, and I have no other notes. Yeah, but this, honestly, I think this made me more hyped for the upcoming match than anything else because, you know, the previous 2 weeks of, you know, Hangman and Punk stealing each other's finishers, like all that was well and good, but like out of all the promos they've had talking about them going up against each other, this was far and away the best one. We kind of got to see why Hangman was so pissed off at Punk seemingly for no reason. Punk totally played him, you know, so I really, really like this. And now I'm not only excited for this match, I'm still really curious as to who's going to win because I have no idea.
I have ideas. I'm not sure they're the right ones, so I'll keep them for the prediction video. However, I'm with you. This was a kick-ass promo, man. This shit was good. It really was good. It set the tone for everyone to be excited about what's going on. And I think a lot of people weren't initially excited about this. They were just, you know, two stars. They're bound to meet each other sooner or later. But this promo kind of showed that they both are where they need to be, and this is gonna work, and it should have worked from the beginning. If they had given us a little bit more like this promo, then I think we all would have been excited from day one. But this was the one. This tipped the iceberg for me.
Yeah, I almost wish they did more of this.
Right.
You know, like I know they don't do a whole lot of, you know, face-to-face promos in AEW. I guess it really depends on the feud. You know, like the MJF Punk one had quite a few. But for the most part, they try to save these meetings until like near the pay-per-view or near the blow-off match. I feel like this feud could have used a few more.
Just a couple. When you have guys like these on the mic, you need this. This is needed.
Especially because I would like to delve into this anger that Paige has for Punk. Like, you know, it's like, does he think like Punk is just coming in using AEW to his own gain? You know what I mean? Like, because he said, like, I'm defending AEW from you. And it's like, okay, but why?
Right.
Like, why do you think you need to do that?
Such a complex line. Oh my God, that was complex. It was made me think of the psyche of a champion and having a company on your back. Like, this was good. It was very in depth.
Yeah, and I feel like, at least for me, Danny, like I want more out of that. I want more of the depth and like, why does Paige think he needs to defend it from Punk? You know, AEW from Punk. Like, and like, where is this anger coming from, just in general?
I mean, literally what you just said is what I was thinking about this. Like, I wish there was more, because Hangman had this line, like you said, about defending AEW from Punk, but he never explained why or what Punk is doing that AEW needs defending. Like, he said that, and it felt like there was literally going to be 5 more minutes of him going off on Punk, but then it was just over, like, almost immediately after that. And I was kind of like, what? I was like, who are you defending? Like, what are you defending AEW from? Like, is AEW a stand-in for a Dragoon who's normally in our chat? Like, I don't understand. That was the part where that fell off for me. But other than that, I love the intensity of this. I love how Punk is being, very manipulative in his angering of Hangman. Although I do believe he truly does respect Hangman. Him no-selling the intensity or any animosity between them is just playing right into Hangman's short temper and insecurities. And I think Punk's doing a great job with keeping Hangman on edge, and Punk's never felt out of control of the situation. And yeah, I'm excited for this match. It is definitely one of the more exciting matches for this card, and hard to predict, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, you bring up a good point about Punk, because they definitely have showed him in AEW as like a master manipulator. Like, he's always in control of the situation, no matter who it's against. The only time it really got murky was with MJF, and that's because MJF is also a master manipulator, just for evil. So you can see just how like far above Hangman Punk is in the mind games of it all, because he got Hangman to punch him, which is what he wanted the entire time.
There was a lot of little things too, like, when Punk spoke, he let Shivani hold the mic. He was respectful. He kept his hands behind his back. He leaned forward. Hangman snatched the mic, took it, did what every heel does essentially in AEW, and makes Tony being there pointless. And then when he went to hand the mic back to Punk, Punk didn't take it. He let Tony take it, and then he spoke into the mic that Tony was holding. It's like a very subtle thing that, like, most people aren't going to pick up on, but Punk's thinking about all of these things. He's not just thinking big picture, he's throwing little things there. And, he's, again, shown whether he's actually fully calm, cool, collected, and in control, he's given off the presence of it. So him being calm is just only making Hangman angrier.
Exactly. Honestly, like, this is low-key one of the better promo segments I think AEW's ever done. So, this is the 3-year anniversary of the company, if they didn't say that enough tonight. So, and honestly, I really think it is, just because of all these like subtle things, like you said, Danny, and then obviously like the broader stuff. I think anybody would notice just what was said, how it was said, just very, very good all around. So after this, we had, I don't know, somewhere there was a Jade Cargill and Anna Jay like video package. I forgot where it was on the show. It was somewhere around here. I think Anna's going for the TBS title. So cool. Love Anna. And then after that, we had John Moxley and Eddie Kingston against, oh my God, is that Private Party? with Regal and Jericho with the entire Appreciation Society on commentary. This was basically just to set up for what happened afterwards, which was just a 5-on-5 absolute insanity to build to their match on Sunday. But Moxley and Eddie just basically assaulted Private Party for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Moxley wins with the paradigm shift. Then the JS immediately jumps them. Bryan, Santana, and Ortiz come running out to defend them. And Jericho and everybody else in this Appreciation Society went after Bryan's leg. So for those of you who didn't see last week on Rampage, Bryan got stuck between the ramp and the ring apron because they had one of those setups where the ramp was all the way up into the ring. And apparently he was stuck for a little while. He was able to walk off under his own power, thankfully, but we weren't sure if this was like an actual injury he suffered or what was going to end up happening. It looks like he was okay because they're putting into the story, Danny. So it looks like that's going to be the angle heading into Double or Nothing.
It looks like it. And I really hope it doesn't mean that Bryan's going to take the pin. But this was fine. This was fun. I'm not going to lie. I didn't really care about the match because, it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't about the match. It was about the brawl after. And the brawl was fun. A suitable go home angle. Ooh, sorry. I'm so excited I'm more excited for the pay-per-view match than anything I can say about this match or this angle.
Yeah. I mean, like it was just an assault for 10. I will say Private Party did have some really good spots. Like they've been stuck in that Andrade family office feud and like whatever they're doing for so long. I almost forgot how good these kids are. Like that shooting star press from Quinn was nuts. He was so high in the air. So like it looked good, but obviously it's Mox and Eddie. They were never gonna win. But Chad, like Danny said, this was, it's all for Sunday.
Oh yeah. I'm an agent of chaos, so I loved it just because it was chaotic. I love seeing Mox and Eddie tag again. Haven't seen that in a little bit. I like seeing Eddie anyway, regardless. I will say that for me, the shining point of this is, I believe last week, I can't remember if it was you, Rev, or James, but one of you guys said how William Regal is settling into his role, but not quite there yet. And Regal on commentary is clearly his role. Like, this is just, it's for him. I love him best when he's at commentary. And then when you mix in Jericho and they're just the banter, that was the best part for me, the witty banter between them. But other than that, yeah, match was just, regular. I was just looking forward to the chaos afterwards.
Yeah, Regal was playing great off of Jericho on commentary.
God.
It was so good. Just
chef's kiss.
Jericho's yelling about being a wizard. And Regal's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yo, it was great. I was like, oh my God, put Regal on commentary every time.
He told him he lost a plot, and I almost spit out my drink. Like, I was just like, that is the perfect way to put what's going on with Jericho right now. He's just absolutely lost the plot. Oh, really good stuff there. After that, we had a quick video package for the 2 Owen Hart semifinal matches and for the Owen in general. Actually, excuse me, the 3. There is one on Rampage, which we'll get to in a minute. And then we had Roppongi Vice versus FTR for the Ring of Honor tag titles. This was a really good match. I was actually very much enjoying it. And then we had the rare disqualification in AEW because freaking United Empire, which is Great O'Khan and Jeff Cobb, ran in and just destroyed everybody. Dax got put through a table by Cobb. Freaking O'Khan got put through one O'Khan put Trent through one. So now we got a tag team, Chad, from New Japan. Really could have used James for this one. I'm sure he would have a lot to say. But
I swear to you.
The door is open, and it looks like these are the first guys to really come through it.
So I'm with you. I enjoyed the match thoroughly. I mean, I love FTR. I had no clue who the fuck these guys were coming in, and I swear to you, the only thing I could think in my mind was, damn it, James is not going to be present this week, and how the hell am I going to figure out who this is? But I'm into it. I'm cool with interferences and disqualifications and new tag team debuts and all the sorts. It was cool.
I know Cobb, and I know Excalibur mentioned this on commentary. I know Cobb from when Jericho hired him that one time to face Moxley. So after I saw him there, I've kind of seen him in New Japan and everywhere. So like when people are talking about what he's doing and stuff. So I know who he is. I know what a monster he is too. And this Great O'Khan guy I had never heard of. So, but I think just introducing them like this, using the disqualification again, which they don't do often in AEW, I think was a great way to just show what monsters these guys are.
Right.
They don't give a fuck about the rules. They come in, they wreck 4 dudes, put two of them through tables just indiscriminately. I think it was a great introduction, Danny.
I disagree. I thought this sucked.
I can tell by your face.
I knew it.
First of all, they botched whatever that tag team move was on Dax. That was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And I knew who Cobb was because, like you said, he did wrestle on Dynamite once, but like this was limp. This was just limp all around. You have a limp Roppongi because they're jobbers in AEW. They're one of the best tag teams outside of AEW, but in AEW they suck. They don't win. But so that's already
at least not on Dynamite
or on Rampage. They don't even win on Rampage.
Yeah,
Trent wins singles matches sometimes. But
I'm sure they went on Dark and Elevation, but
sure, I bet. But I'm pretty sure even Brandon Cutler has won on Dark and Dark Elevation. So
you leave Landon out of this.
Yeah, I actually should. He's kind of above this in a way, but
yikes!
This was not. If this was like the first real build to Forbidden Door, I'm not excited so far because it's FTR should just be doing better. They should be the tag champs in AEW, not in all these other. I mean, they should be the tag champs in all these other companies too. But like if are we gonna have like an ROH tag team title match at the AEW New Japan pay-per-view? I'm already not for that. But this was whatever. The match was good up until the DQ. This was a waste of the DQ. I liked the DQ. What do we have so far? Pac got himself DQ'd against Kenny in the 2 out of 3 falls. What were the other DQs, Rev? I know you know this.
God, I have no idea. Did Kenny get himself DQ'd once? I don't know. I know there was a double DQ in the Peter Avalon Brandon Cutler feud.
See, oh my God, that's a feud to use it for. That's a perfect use of a DQ right there.
There was also a double count out in that feud.
But I don't know.
That was honestly such a good feud.
It was. Yeah, it's felt like a waste. Honestly, I'm sure if we're gonna have a triple threat tag match at Forbidden Door, it'll be fun. But this is not getting me excited at all.
All right. I mean, I'm gonna go agree to disagree. Like I will say, like you're right. Like the botch hurt, but I think they made these 2 dudes look like monsters coming in. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. It could be cool. And this is a discussion we had last week about the Ring of Honor titles and how they're being used. I don't mind FTR defending these titles, especially because I think FTR wants to defend these titles and it helps them in their face turn, So
that's true.
I'm good. I'm good with them defending the titles. If they want to do it at Forbidden Door against these dudes, cool. But if they don't, whatever. Like I'd like to see them maybe against a higher profile tag team. But I don't know. Maybe United Empire is a higher profile tag team in New Japan, and I just don't know. James is, like you said, James ain't here. I don't know shit. All right, let's keep it rolling. We had a Backstage Hardy promo setting up for their match with the Bucks on Sunday. I thought this was really good. I don't not to spend too much time on it, but I thought Matt and Jeff did pretty well. I know Danny is immediately going to disagree because he's laughing. So go ahead.
I'm not gonna disagree. I just really wish James was here, but he's not. He's too busy snorting cocaine with Mickey Mouse or whatever the fuck he's doing. But speaking of, I just found it really funny that Hardy was like, "Yeah, we didn't drink and we didn't do drugs." Real big emphasis on the past tense there, buddy, huh?
Hell, we didn't even curse.
Like, all right, dorks. Like, what the hell? Actually, I didn't curse until like a really late age, but
yeah, me too. Thanks,
like,
Dad.
But I just thought that was funny. I wish James was here because it's not the same without him getting mad. So
true, it's true. But yeah, I think the match is gonna be cool on Sunday. We'll get more into it on the preview show. So, but
yeah.
Good promo. That's all I got. After this, we had a really cool triple threat between Ricky Starks, Swerve Strickland. That was a lot of S's, and Jungle Boy. Again, another rare match. We don't really get a whole lot of triple threats in AEW. We've been getting a few more, I think, but this was really cool. 3 young dudes. I almost, never mind. Almost went down a path there I didn't want to go down. But 3 of the younger guys in the company, really good match. So if this is going to be the future of this company, I'm totally fucking here for it. Swerve ended up winning with the Swerve Stomp on Ricky. Right after that, Hobbs came out and laid waste to Swerve and Jungle Boy. Then Luchasaurus came out, followed by Keith Lee. And we got a nice, big meaty man showdown. And Keith Lee ended up winning it by doing a flip over the top rope and taking out Luchasaurus and Hobbs. And then he stood tall with Swerve at the end. So, Chad, like I said, I thought this match was cool. It was very rapidly paced, a lot of high impact moves, which I thought was just absolutely dope. And I think it sets up nicely for the triple threat tag on Sunday.
I agree. I think the match was great. The pacing was beautiful. I think it was almost poetry in motion. No pun intended. It was very artful. I have one discrepancy. It's just one small discrepancy. I don't want fans to attack me because I love Jungle Boy as much as everyone else. I do. His father was the biggest heartthrob of 90210 for years. We know this guy's future is going to be beautiful, immaculate. I just really, really, really think that this is the kind of match you use Luchasaurus for. That was my only discrepancy. I was cool with Starks. I'm cool with Swerve, but I really felt like Luchasaurus should have been in this match. Put him on TV. It doesn't matter if you're not going to get the win. I just want to see him more. Only discrepancy. Everything else, I'm fine.
I'll agree. I think they need to use Luchasaurus more. Like his character, ever since Christian has joined their crew, has just basically been limited to him going blah at the end of every fucking promo they do. Like
this was the perfect opportunity for that to, put him in the match, get him off. I don't know.
Yeah, he's not on TV too much in terms of wrestling, unless they're obviously tagging. He doesn't, like you said, he doesn't really have a lot of singles matches, which I guess makes a bit of sense. He is one of the best hot tags in the company. His promos now are just gone, even though he used to talk a lot and was very good at it. But I'm going to disagree. I don't think this was the spot for him just because of the way it was all set up, where Swerve interfered a couple of weeks ago in the FTW title match, and it ended up costing Jungle Boy. And then, Christian had them go for this triple threat today. So I just don't think it would have worked here. Also, I do understand why they don't use Luchasaurus a lot in singles competition. I'm not sure that's his forte. I mean, he might have done a lot better with it in Lucha Underground, but I haven't seen all of that. So, but I just don't think he's the guy for this type of match. Now, if you wanted to do the 3 big guys, yeah, maybe, but not against Ricky and Swerve.
I can see that. I get that.
Yeah.
Just give me Luchasaurus though. so it should have been the meaty man, I guess.
Yeah. That we can agree on. Yeah, give us to that on Friday. Danny, what'd you think?
I mean, I was just gonna say you just came to the conclusion at the end that if you were gonna have Luchasaurus, it would be against the big men, and I'd rather that match, but like you were saying, Rev, Christian set this up because he was disappointed in Jungle Boy for losing, not Luchasaurus, because who can be disappointed with Luchasaurus, he's pretty much perfect. This match was good. I think it made my prediction a little easier, but I kind of agree with this guy, Eric, in our chat. I don't think Jungle Boy is a pillar anymore. I also don't think Sammy is a pillar anymore. I think it's just MJF, Britt, and Darby. But I agree that Jurassic Express needs to lose the tag titles, which is Eric saying in our chat. But man, I really I don't want Keith to be in a tag team for long. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not gonna be mad if Keith Lee wins and holds the title, but it should just be the TNT title, but it's a whole nother conversation we've had and we'll continue to have. But this match was good. It gave Swerve some credibility because I think he's been lacking a lot of that in AEW so far, which is fine because I think Starks and Hobbs needed some of these wins more than he did. But so this was a good week for him to pick up a win, and fun match. The match, even though I'm not happy about it happening in the story, the match itself on Sunday is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. The thing with Jungle Boy not being a pillar anymore is tricky. And I guess Sammy too. I think we're almost even past the point of people being pillars because I think there's such enough young talent that's going to be around for 15, 20 years in this company now that like we're almost at a point of we're just at like we have a foundation. You know what I mean? Like forget just
Thunder Rosa is the foundation. She already said that.
True. But I mean, it's just a whole slew of young, men and women in this company now. I don't think just the pillars.
No, they're going to WWE. They're taking the Cody route.
Is an apt description. Also, who's bumping tunes? Somebody outside somebody's house.
Yeah, some car at some house.
Oh, I love the Bronx. All right. Also, speaking of the TNT title, we had a Dan Lambert, Scorpio Sky, and Ethan Page backstage promo. Apparently, Sammy and Ty stole the TNT title, and Sky will be getting a new one on Friday. Be sure to tune in to the Rampage. I don't know. We're all so done with that fucking feud. I'm just gonna keep going.
Yep.
Next up, we had a Thunder Rosa interview on stage, as Danny just alluded to. Really nice hat. Even JR thought so. And once again, I thought we got another really good promo out of this feud after we had a really shitty one a few weeks ago. Last week's was pretty good from Deeb, and now we have Rosa out here giving another good one too. So I'm a lot more invested in this match than I was a few weeks ago. Still not like enthralled by it, Danny, but it's not. I don't know. I'm a little more intrigued, and I think the wrestling's going to be really good. Damn, that music is loud.
Like they just drove around the block. Again, I don't.
We're gonna get fucking taken down because we're playing music now.
God damn. Or like if your car shouldn't shake people's houses. Okay.
At least not at 11 o'clock on a fucking Wednesday.
That part.
Anyway, I disagree, but mainly jokingly. This was terrible. Babyface Thunder Rosa just victim blamed Serena Deeb for, being
fair point.
Told fucked up shit by people with authority, potentially abusing their power. And Thunder Rosa's like, yeah, pick yourself up by your fucking bootstraps, loser, and just fucking get it done. I'm from Texas. Fuck you, kind of thing. But no, this in terms of actual like delivery and stuff, this was really good. This is probably the best Thunder Rosa has sounded on the mic in a long time. So that's good. I just found the content kind of funny and easy to poke fun of, but the delivery and it was something. This feud is still, like you said, kind of lackluster and not given proper attention, but it is what it is. It is what it is, and this was an improvement. So,
Yeah, I'll take that from you. I'll take that. I honestly, I didn't even think about the victim blaming thing until you mentioned it, and you're actually right, which makes this a
Yeah.
lot funnier. But Chad, what did you think about this?
I agree with you guys. I think this was one of her better promos. I'm absolutely not excited for the feud. I am excited for the match because I know both of them can go, and I think the match will end up being good. But the feud
It's going to be like
is.
8 minutes long.
I just hope they don't give it a freaking death slot.
It's gonna.
I feel like it's absolutely going to be in the death
100%.
slot, but I still think, regardless, the match will be good. Yeah, I hate to say it. I was championing Thunder Rosa, pun intended, and this reign is not really. It's not it for me. But agreed, this was the best I've heard of her, so I'm hoping from here it just gets better. Take it away, Rev.
Yeah, no, you're right.
No.
I think the match, like you said, is going to be good. And like I said, as long as it doesn't have a death slot, I think the crowd will get into it because these are two very good wrestlers. So hopefully that's what we see on Sunday, and it's good stuff. Also, Thunder Rosa wear that hat more. After commercial, we had what started as a backstage interview with Red Velvet and then quickly turned into a Ruby Soho interview with Shivani. Basically, it was just to hype up her Owen Hart Foundation tournament semifinal match against Chris Statlander on Friday on Rampage.
Real quick, this was better than Thunder Rosa's promo.
It was. It was.
By far.
Well, I think Red's a pretty good talker. Yeah. Red's a pretty good talker.
I think it was all on Ruby. Ruby did all the character work. And
yeah.
I know like a few weeks ago we saw Ruby's like, oh, Ruby's starting to get good on the mic. And I'm starting to think she's just always actually been good because in AEW she's had solid promo after solid promo. It's just a matter of when they happen more than anything.
And sometimes how. I mean, I think she tends to nail the backstage stuff as opposed to the in-ring stuff, you know? So
I would even push back on that because she only had one in-ring promo, and it was that borderline the best women's promo in the company history with her and Britt trading those jabs, those really good fucking jabs.
Yeah.
She had an in-ring promo. But if we're talking about overall in WWE, do you want to bring WWE into it? Sure.
Yeah.
But even then, I would say she was average at that back in that company.
No, I know. I agree with you. And obviously, I think the one in-ring promo she has had in AEW being with Britt, obviously, helps makes things easier and brings that level up. But I think using her backstage, she's just very comfortable back there, just in general. So she does well. And AEW tends to be fairly good at that, trying to hide people's weaknesses by doing things like that. Now, look, I'd love to go see her do another in-ring promo. Like, I always give the women more fucking time. So, yeah, completely lost my train of thought there. But yeah, I think that match on Friday is going to be good as well. So, Statlander can go and so can Ruby. So I might actually have to remember to tune into Rampage on Friday. All right. And then after that, we had the third women's segment in a row, which is cool. It was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, against Toni Storm in the Owen Hart tournament semifinal match. This match was good. It did seem a step off to me, but I was wondering if maybe because that was Toni fucked her nose up in the middle of it. So it's that, or maybe they just have, some people just don't have great chemistry. And it could have been that too. Bit of both, who knows? Anyway, about 3/4 of the way through the match, Jamie Hayter came down and almost cost Britt the entire thing. And then the match ended with Toni going for a Storm Zero and Britt flipping it into a pinning predicament. And then she grabbed the rope to cheat and win. So Britt's in the finals, which I think we kind of all expected. I'm sure that household is going to be a good time. But Chad, what'd you think of the semifinal match?
So, okay, the match was, I want to say good, but like just a minor step down from good. I'm with you. I think the gelling and the chemistry was a little off for me, but I guess this is their first time in the ring together, so I kind of got to give them grace on that one. Other than that, everything I think was pretty fine. I am with you though. I think the chemistry is mismatched just a bit. I think they just gotta work a groove, but I love seeing women on my screen, as everyone knows. So I'm gonna give this a W just to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, it almost was like they were like desynced from each other. You know what I mean? Like there was just like a split second difference between what one was doing and the other reacting to it. It was weird. I just couldn't put my finger on it. Again, that could have been because Tony fucked her nose up. I hope she didn't break it or anything. Didn't look like she was bleeding too bad, but still, they always say this on commentary when somebody gets hit in the nose, but it is true. You break your nose like that, it is hard to breathe and stuff. You get a little disoriented. So
yeah,
maybe it was something to do with that. Danny, did you see the same things we were seeing, or?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, technically, and this is almost like a good thing to say at this point, but this was the weakest match in the tournament overall. Thinking back on it, it was like Hater versus Storm was really good. Britt versus Makito was one of my favorite matches in a long time. I forgot who Ruby faced, so actually I can't say that.
I think it was Rio on Rampage.
Okay, I didn't see that match, but I'm gonna assume it was pretty good. And then Statlander beat Velvet, so I have a little bit of a bias. I just think that was good, but like this felt a little off. It's a little disappointing, but could be because of the nose. It could be because they never wrestled each other before. Could be any number of things. I'm not too worried about it. I don't think the fans are going to turn on either one of them. I will say the ending sucked regardless. I think it was a stupid ending.
Yeah, I didn't love it.
Jamie comes down and Britt acts like she doesn't want her there. But then Jamie doesn't really factor into the finish. And it's and there's no tension. But what was the point of any of it? I don't understand. The roll-up was kind of weak and it makes Tony look great. And now she's hit the Britt Baker wall. And as great as Baker is, and I think she's by and large the only good part of AEW's women's division, undisputably good part of AEW's women's division since its inception. But like when people face her, it's kind of like, where do you go from there? And we had this with Ruby where she didn't do anything for a while. And it looks like we're heading to a rematch of that in the finals. And maybe this is where Ruby gets her win back, and that'll feel like a good cathartic moment. And then we can get the ball rolling and, elevate Ruby up the card, give down to Rosa a new challenger. But I'm hoping that, Tony doesn't just end up on Dark Elevation with the occasional Rampage match. I hope she has something to do after this.
Excuse me. Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm kind of hoping Tony is good enough where that won't happen. Honestly, I know she just took a loss, but I wouldn't mind her going after Thunder Rosa in the near future. Obviously, I think she needs a few more wins just to get up the rankings, but you can easily do that in AEW. They've had these stats all the time, and they're arbitrary rankings. Like, you can get her there. So I think, because I would love to see that matchup, and B, I think that's something that's really good for Tony to do, unless they're planning on her being the next champ, and then, that we're going to have to wait a little while for that. So either way, I'm sure they'll find something for her to do. I would not take Tony Storm off TV. She is over as hell.
Right.
So.
Ruby was over as hell too. And
True.
True.
Cheetah
was champion for so long and then lost it and then wasn't on TV.
Yeah, but I didn't hate that. Like, A, I think she went back to Japan, and B, like, all right, you were the champ for a really long time. You carried that division during the pandemic. Having her leave, like, take a step back, giving, just some room to breathe, for the fans, and not having like her just immediately shoved down our throats again. I didn't mind that. And when she came back, it was a really big deal. So I think the bigger problem is now, since then, she's kind of been back and forth between here and Japan. So she's not consistently on TV, which is part of the whole, thing with Deeb and that feud getting extended for what felt like 9 months and everything.
The matches were so good, though.
They really were. I mean, At towards the end there, they started getting a little repetitive because it was okay. Deeb attacks Sheeta's knee, and then like, it ended up being a little formulaic, but they were still really good. So, but yeah, that was Dynamite. So overall, Chad, what we think of this as a go home show? Like, are you more hyped now for Double or Nothing on Sunday, or was this kind of fall flat?
I don't want to say it fell flat because at the end of the day, I am kind of spoiled because I think this was a good show. I could say it fell flat because it was less than great, but I can't expect great every week. I'm excited for the pay-per-view regardless because it's AEW. I don't care. Take it how you want it. But yeah, it was a good show for me.
Yeah. What do you think, Danny?
It was a relatively weak go-home show. It had its moments, but otherwise, it's really hard to remember the pay-per-views on Sunday. So it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, I agree. I think last week's episode was better.
Oh yeah, by far.
Oh,
absolutely.
I think I had high expectations for this show because of last week's episode and the fact it was the go home, at least for Dynamite. So yeah, I like Chad, you said, I don't think it fell flat, but it definitely didn't live up to where I thought it was going to be.
Understood.
Yeah. All right. So that's that. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. We are, I believe, at 80 subscribers now. So we're getting real close to James wrapping and dyeing his hair and all that good stuff. Very much looking forward to that. Be sure to check out our social media stuff. I'll get it in the description below when YouTube lets me. Otherwise, go check out one of our other videos and it'll be in there as well. Keep on the lookout for the podcast coming out later this week and our Double or Nothing prediction show, which will come out in the next couple of days. So for Chad Big Bad Johnson and Danny Hernandez, I'm Nick Cummings. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you here next week live on the Market Down Podcast.